Come on down South Park and meet some friends of mine.
The South Park episode, Make Love, Not Warcraft, is a very popular one, especially to the players of the game. Even if you don't watch South Park, you probably at least have heard of this episode at some point or have seen the memes that came out of it. The boys can't enjoy the game because one big nerd is non-stop killing them, so they embark on a journey to outlevel him in order to take him down and save the world of Warcraft from his tyranny. There are many things in this episode that don't make sense from a gameplay perspective, like Stan using the Frostwolf tabard on a human, Kenny playing as a hunter, although human hunters weren't even a thing back then and he's definitely playing a rogue here, this guy wearing a plate helmet as a mage and summoning scorpions, and so on. But even with all the flaws, this episode is top quality content and I have recreated the armor sets of the boys as good as possible, so you can farm them and use them as transmogs. I will show you all of the items I used and talk about the little changes I had to make to actually make the transmog work. Starting with Cartman. In this set, almost everything is recreatable. The only items we cannot use are the legs and gloves, because the legs used in the episode are the general's leather leg guards, only available by rogues. And the character itself is clearly a warrior, although you can also use it on paladins and technically death knights. And the gloves are the glimmering mail gauntlets, and as the name suggests, they are mail armor instead of plate. Instead I have picked the leggings of the Ursa and the replica Lightforge gauntlets, which are still very fitting and overall you can definitely still recognize who this is supposed to be. Next we have Kyle, and this set is really the easiest to make, by far, since it only uses 3 items and all of these are actually viable. This can be used on mages, warlocks and priests. But in the episode, Kyle plays as a mage, so if you want it somewhat accurate, you should too. Now let's take a look at Kenny. Kenny's character in this episode is depicted as a hunter, but as I already stated, it's actually a rogue. He is using leather armor and human hunters didn't exist back in the day, so sadly no hunter set will ever look like this. But I could make a leather set for rogues and monks. 2 items in here are not true to the original, and those are the belt and helmet. Because originally they used the Battleforged girdle, which is mail armor, as well as the amber silk coronet for the head, which is cloth. Instead for the belt I picked the meditative sash, which has a very similar color scheme, as well as the scaled leather headband, which almost looks identical, only a bit darker. For weapons I would definitely suggest to take some vanilla weapons as well, so they don't stick out too much with high graphics. And finally, the one most of you are probably here for, Stan. Definitely the coolest set of them all, but again, I had to make some minor adjustments. The tabard in this episode is a Frostwolf tabard, which is only available for Horde players. So instead I used the personal tabard and went for a lion instead of a wolf, to make it a bit more alliance themed. The shield simply doesn't exist in the game, so I took the Crest of Supremacy, which has the same shape and similar colors. The belt that was used is a Black Forged girdle, which is a mail item and therefore not viable. Instead I used the Furious Gladiator's girdle of Triumph, which looks relatively similar. The helmet used to be the Iron Spine helmet, which again is mail armor. There are no plate armor pieces that give the same vibe of a chain armor hood, so instead I went with the Amber Quatodian hood, which fits in pretty nicely. Also the gloves originally were the Bone Fingers, which are a leather item. I swapped those with the Dauntless handguards, which complement the chest and legs pretty nicely. This set can be used as a protection or holy paladin, as well as a protection warrior. And with that the boys are back in town. If you enjoyed these armor sets, make sure to subscribe to the channel and also check out my playlist of other recreated lore characters. I hope to see you next time. Until then, see ya!